Wake up, one sec, get dressed. I'm already late, bruh. Freeway every day. Go to work, the check is dirt. Need it though. Traffic sucks. Stop and go. Vehicles moving slow. Cut me off, I'll flip you off. Now I daydream of Molotov. Slam the brakes, I start to cough. Think about my PTO. Do I have it? Probably no. Chain to my cubicle. Tough it out. 5 minutes, already wanna go. Just another chronicle of the life, stress, strife. Tell the world to take a hike. Going left, nothing's right. Brain about to go on strike. What's going on today?
Speed up, slow down. Have to go now. No more feeling, always needing to speed up, slow down. Thoughts are so loud, ready to drop. Please just
Make it stop.
You have 3 new voice messages.
Hey, what's happening, Martin? Just checking in with you. Just a reminder, we got
I
band
don't already know
practice
we
at
have
7
fucking
o'clock.
practice.
And please, let's not have a repeat of last time. I know most
Okay,
of our
shit.
have guitar amps.
Fucking
All right.
green light, go. Round 2, what to do? What I gotta pay today? Rent, lights, gas, shit. About to sell my life away. Highest bidder, make a play. Ante up, stop, wait. Forgot what I was gonna say. Okay. Been neglecting my guitar, no one else to blame. Who the hell am I without it? Start to feel the shame. Got practice in a bit, can't afford to slip. Told the guys I handle it, still they talking shit. And mom left a voicemail, I've been out of sight. Girlfriend is texting me cause we been in a fight. Hanging on the rope, hope it all would end tonight. And I still got it right. Fuck.
speed up, slow down. Have to go now. No more feeling, always needing to speed up, slow down. Thoughts are so loud, ready to drop. Please just
Make it stop. Can't make it stop. Can't make it stop. Make it stop. Can't 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 make it stop.
haven't talked to you in a long time. And just wondering how you are doing. And so, call me, don't text me. I'd like to hear your voice. Okay, bye-bye.
Hey, what's up? Are you still playing guitar today? I want to know because I haven't seen it. And also, bring me $20 that I was borrow last week.
Fuck today. Shit. At least that ain't me. Shit.
Yo, we in the building, Bird of Paradise podcast. Flamingo Fred, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yo, what's up? This is the Martin Gachiri Experience, also known as TMGE for short. And I'm ready to do this. What's up?
What's going on? Hey, that's a dope video.
Thank you.
That's a dope video. I really like the creativity and everything you put into it.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, no doubt. So, what does everybody call you for short? Because I see you a one-man band.
Yeah. Well, most people just call me Martin by my first name, right?
That's
But
what I figured.
yeah, so I'm usually just Martin for most people who see me, but when I need to put a name down, it's the Martin Gachiri Experience.
No, it's dope.
Yeah.
It's dope. Many questions. So
All right.
one of my main questions that I'm figuring, like, what is it like being a one-man band?
It's very free, of course, because you don't have to answer to anybody else, but at the same time, that can kind of limit what you're doing. You don't want to get caught in your own, like, in the same styles of writing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the kind of having that control is the most important part, you know, just like I don't have to ask anyone how they feel about a lyric. Like if something feels weird, but I like it, it's like I'm gonna just do it. Like I don't have to try to make it palatable for somebody else who's writing, you know.
Yeah, most definitely. Like, have you been in different bands before?
Yeah, I've been in bands before. I'm actually in a band right now called Mellow Lando. So I play guitar there and do some writing and I sing. But as far as my music, it's always been like a solo project, and not even on purpose. That's kind of just how it worked out, you know.
No, most definitely because my background is making beats and as rapping and an artist and stuff like that. So I have a group based out of the Bay Area, but I've
Okay.
kind of did a lot of work solo too. So it's kind of different than
Hmm.
being in a band. But
Right.
it to hear you talk about being in a one-man band and this and like I kind of been a one-man band already, but I'm kind of branching out into something new and I'm like curious myself because I'm doing like this funk like electronic like synthesizer house thing and I'm
Right.
kind of making it. I don't know if it's a one-man band because I want people to get involved and contribute and do this and that,
Mm.
but essentially it's kind of like a one-man band. So I've been kind of
Right.
curious to how that works.
Again, it's a lot of work, of course, because I'm playing the instruments on all of my recordings. You know what I mean? So when you're writing it, it comes a little easy because you know exactly how you want something to sound. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But again, that's a little more work than I would have if I was just writing it and had other people, uh, kind of playing those parts, and they might add a little something to it that I didn't think of. You know what I mean? So I do understand kind of the limitations and the pros of doing a solo thing. You know.
So, how do you tackle it when you go perform as far as, being a one man band?
So a lot of the time I'll have a backing track with kind of just the like drums and bass and stuff. And my main thing is I'll be playing guitar and singing. So it'll
Yeah.
be rhythm and lead depending on what song it is. So just like some backing tracks with drums and bass. That's pretty much what I need.
Yeah, because like me as a start coming up like hip hop and doing this, like
Hmm.
to me having a whole band, like I've worked with different people, but having a whole band seems like a lot of work and a lot of people.
Yes.
Like you gotta
Yeah.
keep balanced out. And it's like there's always this one person that's wild and this and that, and this just seems like too much work.
Hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, I want to do this thing, but having tracking people down these days and getting people to do this and
Yeah.
that, like, I'm not the person for that. I don't got time to be tracking people down. Can you lay this
Right.
bass line? Can you do this? I'd rather just do it myself,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
just
Yeah.
do it myself. Like, how long have you been pushing the one man band? Like, how long have you been pushing it?
Um, I'd say like for like actually pushing it, maybe like 3, 4 years. But I've been writing under this name for about like it's been at least 10 years, more than that. I never really had another band name, you know what I mean? But as far as putting out like actual music, like my first Spotify release was back in 2020 during the pandemic and all that. So
Have you ever thought about like having people fill in for live performances?
oh yeah, of course. The day I can get a band together is gonna sound crazy. I mean, I've had a few sets with the full band, but again, the reason why I kind of stopped doing that is because things got way crazy. People start forgetting
Complicated.
parts and you take it personally when you know exactly how everything's supposed to sound. So it's like it was a little too much for me at the time. Like I don't want to get too mad at this person that I'm friends with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most definitely. And it's like also in this day and age, like live performances are dope
Hmm.
and they're a cool thing, but we also like there's people that we'll never see perform that we'll listen to all the time.
Right.
Like
Right.
I'm not gonna see Tupac perform. I might listen to him though. I'm not gonna see DMX or whoever else. And
Right.
we have this beautiful tool called the internet where we can go watch
Yeah.
their music videos, which is basically a live performance.
Right. No, that's a
I
good point. I think live performance is more important in like smaller communities. You know what I'm saying? Where you might not have all the resources to have music, or music videos constantly coming out. So it's like, all right, that's so and so. We know to catch them at this spot regularly. You know what I mean? At an open mic or something like that. So that's kind of a smaller community thing.
you know, and this might not be a popular opinion,
Mm,
but like I make music, but I'm not a huge fan of live performances.
okay.
And I will tell you why. Because when you're coming up as an artist, and I've seen this a lot, so much goes into. I just had like this show I was supposed to be part of this
Mm,
weekend, and whatever.
all right.
But as an undergrad, so much goes into the preparation for this show.
Mm,
You know, your outfit, this, that, doing
Mm,
all this stuff. So much
right.
goes into the preparation of this show. You don't know how many people, you don't know this, you don't know that. And
Right.
then the show's over and you spent whatever else. Now, you could turn it into a cool thing. But I feel like all that, those resources when you're coming up could have been used for other things to
Mm,
have something that's long lasting for people to see. Like instead of you spending 400
mm.
to perform, you could have used that 400 to go make some content or a music video.
No, it's true. And I guess my background as far as playing in bands and stuff like that is why it feels a little bit different. Where in my head, I'm like, yeah, spend that on a performance. But I guess in the way it works today, that might be better suited for, like you said, pushing some content or filming something. You might be able to film multiple pieces of content with that money you would have spent on that 20-minute performance.
Man,
I
you
wish it wasn't
go
like that, but
you're gonna go, get an outfit, do this pre-game with the homie, do this, all these things that go into, because it's like a hangout thing, kind of. You're gonna do all that, and especially if you're
right.
doing it back to back to back to back,
Mm,
and you're gonna use all those resources to
mm,
do that. Now, flip side, I'm a huge fan of shaking hands, marketing, doing that and
right.
everything else, and those things are very important. But I don't know, like it just depends where you're at too, because
Yeah.
a lot of times,
Yeah.
like in the rap culture, you would go to these shows and you'd have 25 underground rappers performing. It's like
Right.
everybody's not gonna watch them. But what I started
Right.
doing is I'll throw a party and host a party, then I'll
Yeah.
have you come perform at the peak of the party.
No, that's where most of my a lot of our band's gigs come from that idea. Like we have homies who throw parties during certain holidays. They might just throw a show just cause. So got a backyard gig, people selling this and that, got music going all night. That's where my background is. So it's like touching hands, but you're at a more of a beginning level. You know what I mean? When you don't have a bunch of music to show people, those are the kind of shows that you do to kind of build a name for yourself. You know what I mean? So that's what's comfortable for me.
Most definitely.
Mm.
Like who's some of your inspirations, for you to make music?
So it started out with Sum 41. Like I was very much a pop punk kid when that was going
Mhm.
on, and that's why I started playing guitar. Um, After that, I'd say my main influence is Red Hot Chili Peppers, and
Mm,
their guitarist John Frusciante. His style just really spoke to me. It was very simple, very Hendrix inspired, very like funk inspired. You know what I mean? So
mhm.
listening to him and that band had me branching off into like now I want to listen to Bootsy Collins and stuff like that. So that was kind of a gateway for me into all
Yeah.
these other kinds of music. So they're a they're an important band for me.
No, most definitely, most definitely. That's dope. Um, yeah, it's a huge influence. Like, I've listened to a lot of different stuff. Like, and you know what the main thing for me was, and this is
Mm,
mine. I tell this all the time because I talk to artists because we just having conversation, so I'm not feeling
right.
like repetitive. But like I was working with some of the bands and stuff because I was making hip hop music, but I kind of make a different type of sound. And like one of the band members was like, "You remind me of Thundercat." You know what I
Uh,
mean? And I was
right.
like, Thundercat, and I kind of
Mm,
took it like, what? Like, nah, I'm Flamingo Fred. But then I start thinking about it like I make a different type of music than most. And then I'm like, man,
mm,
the hip hop culture is own thing. I'm like, let me branch out into some of this other music
right.
that I originally liked. You know
Mm,
what I mean? And that
right.
came from, funk. I mean, it all
Mm,
comes from the same place. Like
mm,
if you look back in the day, they implemented the synthesizers, but the synthesizer was basically supposed to be the band. You know what I mean? You have
right.
this machine that is supposed to take place of the band.
Mm,
You had this early like electronic hip hop is what I would call it back in the day. I don't know how familiar you
right.
are with it, but
Is it like Planet Rock and stuff like
yeah,
that?
it was
Yeah.
like shit like that, which was basically the funk but electronic.
Mm, right.
So
Right.
I've been a huge, like the last couple years, I've been a huge just paying attention to like Parliament Funkadelic
Mm,
and
hell
Bootsy,
yeah.
and just like trying to branch out. And I got into like there's this shit called on YouTube. It's like 60s like garage band. It's like punk
Mm,
rock.
okay.
And it's I like a lot of the melodies and shit they have to
Mm,
it, like these like
mm,
underground
mm,
like songs, and I'm kind of like
mm.
trying to blend all these elements together,
Right.
you
So,
know.
a band actually, another influence that kind of speaks to what you're talking about is a Fishbone. When I started listening to them, that kind of like blew my mind because, it's a band out of, I think they're out of South Central, and all black dudes, and they make their music is like soul, funk, metal, ska, like they're doing all of it.
I
So
gotta
they,
I gotta
yeah,
check them out. I
they're,
think I've
yeah,
heard of them
sick.
before, but I've never listened to it.
They're all over the place. It's crazy, but it's really good, man. They can all play their asses off. That singer is going off like he's in church and all that. They're
Like, cause
doing mosh pits and all that.
because to be honest with you, I had to go back and think about myself. I was like, what really first got me into like I really like those old like electronic, like it was kind of hip, it was kind of rap, but it was like
Hmm.
electronic synthesizer, like have fun music, like
Yeah, more like dance music.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the shit that I really like. I liked rap and different shit, and I like, of course, boom bap. But that was like the
Right.
shit that I really liked, and I started
Mm,
kind of like trying to branch off that way. And some
mm,
people were like the producers and shit. They're like, I don't know what you're trying to do, and but
really?
like, because
Well, it
everybody
makes
would
sense to me.
no, because you got to realize you're dealing in a hip hop lane, and everybody in
Right,
the
right,
hip hop lane, they're like, we're trying to do this and do what Drake and Kendrick or whatever, whoever they're looking
right,
at the time,
right.
they're making West Coast rap, you know what I mean? And so they don't, but I'm like, man, let me start going back to what I
Mm,
really wanted to do because I already could
yeah.
rap, like I know that, but it's
Mm,
like, how do you do it? Because
mm,
I'm not a big vocalist, you know what I mean? I rap and
right.
I harmonize like ODB, like ugly singing,
Mm.
what I call, but like I don't like, so to see you as a one man band, it is like spark idea and make me think about all this shit.
Okay. All right, dope,
So
man.
it's like it's one of those things. Um, who is your favorite guitar player ever?
Damn. So damn. I gotta say, I know I just said John from Chili Peppers. He was like a huge influence. So it's between him and there's this guitarist for a band called Mastodon. His name is Brent Hines. He started out as a banjo player apparently, and
Mm,
so he has guitar riffs that are just very weird, man. It's like this weird finger picking type stuff, and it's just a very unique sound, man. They're very heavy band. Yeah, so it's those two. He can shred. He has anything that has like a unique voice to it is what I'm gonna gravitate to, you know.
yeah, I before I ever started because it's you go down this highway that you're looking at this music and you're trying to dissect.
Right.
They say analysis is paralysis. The more you analyze shit, the more you're
Yes.
not going to do
Yes.
anything.
Mm,
But as a fan of music, you look at different shit. But before I was, I'm looking at punk rock because I like their harmonies and I want to apply the
mm,
harmonies to over here. But I
mm.
was really big into Jimi Hendrix. And
Okay. Yes, yes.
well, the main thing that got me into Jimmy, I read his biography, a couple times,
Mm,
and the shit that Jimmy went through in his life, and I mean, when he didn't
mm,
have a guitar playing on a broomstick, you know what I mean,
mm,
to being at Woodstock and his whole
mm,
life journey and shit like
mm,
that.
mm.
I was also a big fan of grunge, like
Oh,
Nirvana and
okay, like
the grunge sound.
yeah, Pearl Jam and all that, and yeah,
I
yeah.
never listened to much Pearl Jam. I just you got to understand, for me, I talk about this shit like an angle from a person that didn't really grow up with a lot of this shit. So a lot of this shit
Right, right.
is new to me, and I'm
Mm,
interested in
mm,
somebody that's more into it than I am.
mm.
So there was like, if you look back in the day, like say the 60s, they had surf music,
Right, right.
which is to me was kind of like the grunge music. It was similar to
Hmm.
this surf music. I don't know if you've ever compared the two, but you know
I
how
actually
like
haven't. That's
if you
interesting.
go and I'll holler at you off wax and I'll send you some shit. But
Please.
like you know Tarantino movies, how he always plays like that surf music. But if you go listen
Yeah.
to a lot of that, I hear like the grunge Nirvana sound,
Okay.
and I thought
I'm
that.
not huge on Nirvana, so I'm really interested in hearing this because like you might have unlocked something crazy.
But that's and this is from an outside person looking in. I'm
Right.
like, I mean, it seems so simple. Like, why wouldn't they? You know, they're still a
Mm.
West Coast band. Like, why wouldn't they? You know, but I'm like,
Right.
how did you go from this happy surf music sound, and it was the sound for that, to this
Mm.
taking that similar sound, and now it's being this like grunge kind of depressed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
Sound like I'm telling you,
Mm.
there's a huge. I mean, I thought it was weird. Like I wanted
Mm.
somebody to explain it to me. Like, how does that happen?
Mm. I wish I had an answer, man.
Like,
I wish I had an answer. That's
I'm
mad
gonna send you
interesting
some
though.
shit. I'm gonna send you some shit to listen because, like,
Bro,
I
I'm
mean, it
ready.
seems simple. Like, you know, if you look at jazz, for instance, they
Mhm.
took jazz and they chopped the samples, and that turned into, you know, the Wu-Tang Clan or something. So
Right, right.
I just thought it was
Just trying
crazy.
to see
Like,
that journey from like surf rock to grunge.
man, it was like the
All
Beach
right.
Boys and this
Right.
Wipeout to like this
Yeah.
depressed
Mm.
anti-society shit.
Mm.
So if you had a chance to work with anybody, like who are some people you want to work with?
Um, my first thought is like Kid Cudi.
Mm,
He's a huge inspiration for me. Um, not just his music, but kind of his vibe. You know, it made me feel like it wasn't weird to kind of have that style. You know, he's kind of all over the place. He leans towards rock music and stuff. He's very experimental. So working with him, I think it'd be a good vibe.
do you
Yeah.
feel like it's hard as, you know, being a black man and being in these other genres besides rap?
uh, Sometimes it is because it feels like you're being judged a little differently. But at the same time, depending on where I'm at, I, pardon me,
No, you good.
depending on where I'm at, I think it's a plus because I'll get a lot of people saying that they were like not shocked. That's dramatic, but like they're just surprised I was doing something other than rapping. You know, if I'm at a showcase or something, like they see me with a guitar, it's like, oh, what's about to happen? Um,
Yeah.
so it just depends where I'm at. Depends where I am.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a vibe like I've been in like when because I'm from San Francisco, you know what I mean, Bay Area, but now I'm
Yeah.
like up in Oregon in different places, and it's like the culture's like it's like I seen some of the pushback that came with rap and different things, and I always
Mm.
love rap and had the elements, but it's like that was kind of my problem with the rap culture. Like when this rap thing started, it was like whoa, but now it's like people kind of like, oh, okay, you're rapping.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like I'm an artist. I create like I can do these cool
And you're like, that's
things
just how
like
it comes out sometimes, you know?
yeah, and it's like as soon as you're like I feel like people see like oh it's rapping, they kind of like push it under like no, I'm trying to get an idea across to you.
Right, right.
So, you
I think that's
know,
part of why, you know, I'm not a rapper, you know what I mean? But I realize when I write songs, I write a lot of rap. So I don't know if
yeah,
that
and that was something I was gonna bring up to you. Like listening
Mm,
to your song, there was like it had an element of not necessarily just the traditional rock song, I would say. They had like some rap elements in a sense,
mm,
like, you know, and
right.
I thought that was dope. Like it was like you had some parts where you were talking and kind of breaking shit down and doing shit, which I think is cool,
Hmm.
you
Thank you.
know.
And that was new for me, you know, because the track's not really it doesn't make you think of hip hop when you hear it. So the song concept kind of lent itself to more of like a rapping or like just a straightforward delivery and not trying to write like a whole vocal melody and all that. So it was kind of weird how the song came together in that respect, but I'm happy
Yeah,
with it.
like and I've been doing a lot of studying, like I'm a lot of Parliament Funkadelic. I'm listening to their
Yes, yes,
music,
yes.
and a lot of them is like talking harmony. You know, hey, have you
Yeah,
ever
they'll
jumped
just
over the moon? And oh, we
exactly
over the moon.
Baby
Oh,
Baba and
you know what I mean? They start doing all this shit.
yeah.
So that's not like Whitney Houston singing. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
it's dope. It's like it's kind of relearning how to ride a bike again.
Mm. No, I like that. Yeah, that's real.
So
And
as an artist that's making rock music, you know what I mean, and in your genre, like how often do you try to release a new song?
um I mean, I would like to release them more often. Right now, it's like every couple of months, but for me, it's more of a matter of just getting everything recorded. It's kind of, I'm in that space where I'm sitting on like a whole bunch of demos and I'm just getting ready to, finish them and put them out. So, not as often as I'd like, but,
Yeah,
uh,
because
yeah.
that kind of makes me, because I know with rap, like there was a time I was releasing songs every week.
Mm,
Sometimes I could hop in the studio and make 3, 4 songs, and I know it's kind of a different
right.
process, you know, but still,
Mm,
I mean, I don't know. Some people work at different paces. Like, I mean, it's kind of similar. Like when we're going to make a beat, I'm laying down a bass line or chopping
right.
samples, laying drums, doing
Mm,
this, doing that, and then you put your vocals over it and shit like that.
mm. Well, it's funny because a lot of my songs start out the same way. Like I'll have a drum loop. Like this, "Make It Stop" was totally like a drum loop first. I had to have the groove going first. But I think when it comes to writing a hook and making sure the structure feels right and the melody and all that, that's kind of what slows me down. So sometimes when I approach things like more quickly, like you're saying, like just go and lay it down, that ends up being better because, like you're saying, you can end up stuck with an idea if you analyze it for too long. Um, so again, I'm just trying to get to that point where I'm releasing more more frequently. Because like you said, a song a week, I think that would be sick. Like
Well,
that's a goal for me. Like,
one of the things that I was looked at recently, because every time like I talk to artists like yourself, and like we had this conversation, it motivates me, and
right.
I'm trying to learn. Some people hop on cocky and this, like I'm trying to learn, and
Right, right,
it motivates me, but because I was struggling at a point, like I know how to I could rap and do it, like I got
right,
like 3 albums at home just sitting around
mm,
worth of songs. Like just
right,
I could
right,
release all year with the stuff, but I'm like, no, I want to make something new. And maybe that's my problem. But I wanted to do borrow these all these elements, but I still wanted to have like say the mixtape element of rap. I'm like,
right,
how can I apply that to like funk and electronic, like electronic, like
mm,
that's an idea that's been in my head because I'm used to releasing music fast. So like, you
right,
you have these 10 tracks, one track might be, this weird synth, this noise, and we come in with the
mm,
vocoder and this, and then one track, and
yeah, and
have
just
that like mixtape element.
mm. No, I like that idea, man. Like, because you don't hear that with funk and that kind of stuff. Like, if you just had a groove and just like went in for a little bit and then like next track, like just keep it moving. You know what I mean? Like, I really like the sound of that idea.
Like it was kind of how it was like back in the breakdance era when they was like making tapes to dance to. And I
I was
mean,
gonna say, yeah, yeah,
and so I always like that because each is like each tape could have a different flavor. You know what I mean? This might be
exactly.
the strawberries and cream tape and whatever. Like I always like that elements, but that requires you to make music at a kind of a faster pace.
Right,
And
right.
so, like as
And
an
some,
artist for yourself, like man, what if you thought about elements like that? Because and the only reason I say that because we live in a day and age where things are moving so fast.
right.
So maybe you
Hmm.
had some where you start making a bass line or tapes like that, which if you look back at the old days, it's like, man, they could make this album and that shit was stretched for years,
Right, right. And
you
that's
know.
not, you can't do that. You can't do
Nah.
that. Nobody's like, people aren't even going to listen to the whole thing. I think people who listen to artists they like don't even listen to albums like front to back. So that's the wild thing. So if they don't know who you are, you can't even expect,
This is what I feel like I'm trying to do because I have my podcast is we have like a mini mall here. It's in a record
right.
shop, so I realize we're selling a lot of
Oh,
physical media here, a lot of
mm,
vinyl records, a lot of CDs, and
Right.
cassettes, even some VHSs and DVDs. So
Damn. Cool,
I
cool.
feel like if I make tapes, you know what I mean? Say I make this 10 track, you know what I mean? The Flamingo Experience, and we collab or something, we make
Mhm.
this thing. Like
Right.
we'd only release like snippets of it for online content, but the real fans who want physical media, then they
Oh,
would get the whole project.
I really like that idea actually, because the
Besides that,
snippets would.
yeah,
So I was you said like you said the snippets fit perfectly for like content for TikTok and short form media, and then it's like if you like this, you have to sit down and buy this little vinyl or buy this,
the real fans who
flash
get
drive or something.
the real fans who get the whole project, they'll listen to it back. Those are the people that are going to listen to it. But the people on
Yeah,
internet
exactly.
that you still want to know, and show them what's going on, um,
Hmm.
those get the snippets of what you got because they're not listening to. I mean, it's gotten so
Right.
bad now that we barely watching whole music videos.
It's wild. Yeah, man. And it's a shame. It's a shame because you'll miss a lot of videos that are really good. And again, I don't understand how it's with artists that people actually like too. That's the wild part. Like not listening to the whole album, you're not watching the whole video, so
I
it's
just
just
think
it's
that
weird.
if you give, it's like the book, if you give a mouse a cookie, like if you give a mouse a cookie, they're gonna want milk. Like people have these phones, there's too much going on for them to sit there like and watch, like I remember
Right.
when all we used to do was like sit back and watch music video. I mean, it was the music video that had like a little cut scene in it, like a mini
Oh,
movie in between, and then it got back to the music video, and we
yo,
watched the whole music video.
I used to my siblings, we'd get every time the rollout video, Ludacris would come on. It's like everybody come in because we used to love that one, man. So I totally get that vibe, especially with no TiVo, none of that. It's like you're watching BET, you're watching MTV, you're just waiting for the video to come on. And when it does, you try to catch it. So I miss those days. And you
Like
want to see the whole video, you know?
I wonder what the science, like I watch clips,
Mm.
like I know rappers and shit that drop like content every day, but it'll be like this 30-second or minute content, which is cool, and you'll watch that. But like I forgot where I heard it at, but it
Mm.
was like because I study the music, I study the marketing, I study it all, but they were like, now we're in a day and age, like we don't need the music videos, basically what they were saying,
Mm.
and they were like it's outdated.
Mm. No, it definitely is. And again, for this video, we were trying to, we split up a lot of different snippets, you know what I mean, for little video clips and stuff like that. Because yeah, it's a very outdated. We went into this, with that mindset. Like we're not trying to make a whole, big production because it's not even that type of that game anymore. You know what I
Actually,
mean?
I think the point that they were making is like everybody was listening to shit on the radio for years and years, and so now that
Okay.
it was on TV, I think the music video was a way to get the music on TV or
Right.
something to that nature so they could still whatever. And even now,
Okay.
sometimes if on your phone you got YouTube, like you'll play the song and the video will be there, but you don't watch the video. You can still
Right. Right.
hear the song, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so I don't know
No, that's
the
a good point.
exact science.
Hmm. I
As far,
personally, I think it's once you have the option to choose exactly what you want to listen to all the time, especially on the move, I think that's what kind of cuts that feeling off where it's like I don't need to watch all of this because I can go to my favorite song in 10 seconds. I can open up this app or you know what I'm saying? So I think once like with radio and stuff like that, people request songs, but it's a pretty set playlist. Same with like music video countdowns and stuff. So I think once we got the opportunity to just listen to whatever we want, like anywhere, I think that kind of stops that feeling of wanting to get music from different sources. Like you said, there's no point in a music video if you can just you can listen to a song anywhere whenever you want. So I think it has to do with that. Once you're in control, it's like you don't want to spend so much time on things you're not familiar
yeah,
with or aware of.
no, that makes sense. Like I just think about it all the time, like where we going and how to like even now going forward, it's like, okay, I don't want to make a music video. Should I even make
Mm,
a whole video? Or maybe I should make a song and have, you know, 5 snippets to this song, and in each of these snippets, it's like a whole new video. You
mm,
know what I mean? And now you're pushing it. It's the same song, but different
right,
visuals, short
right,
visuals, but
right.
so it's in a weird time. Like I'm not really
Mm,
following anybody's music close enough to know what they're doing. Like LL Cool J, he just dropped something.
right,
Uh
right.
and I watched 2 music videos that I seen from him,
Mm,
but am I gonna go back and watch it like we used to?
right, right.
Now, if I see a snippet, with him doing some cool shit, I'll watch that, but I'm not gonna
Mm.
just have an LL Cool J video on repeat. Like
No, I
I'm
feel
not
you. I feel you.
like it's
It's weird.
it's
It's almost like the
it's
video is more of a like a kind of like a statement as far as like like it makes the music feel a little more serious, I think, when you have a music video attached to it. So I think for a lot of people it might just stop there, where it's like if I show you I have a song, but I don't tell you I have a music video, it doesn't feel as professional or as, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, it's
Like if
just
you
it's trying to figure it's like I don't know if you remember The Incredibles, like the first movie.
yeah.
I know this is like a weird comparison, but like
No,
he's like, if I gave everybody superpowers,
mm,
nobody would
no,
be,
but
y- it feels
exactly.
like that. Like now it's like everybody could do it, so it's not, I don't know.
Mm. No, it's there's that and but at the same time, I think when there's so many people making music, it creates more little like sub genres and sub lanes kind of to fall into. So I think there are pros and cons to that. If you're making a certain kind of music and there's a million, like if there are a billion rappers, that doesn't really help. You know what I'm saying? Getting certain types of music heard. But if you make something that's a little having your own spin on something, whatever makes it unique is what I think we have to pay more attention to because that's what's going to get people to care about you, when you're in a group of, a billion rappers out here. So,
Yeah. How do you feel about subgenres?
they're everything, because sometimes you don't have the words to describe a type of music, you know what I mean? So you got to kind of put your own title to it, and sometimes that alone can get people interested. Like I never heard these words put together. Like what does this mean? So if you try to describe yourself as just, I make rock music, it's like, well, what does that mean? Like that doesn't
It's
tell
like
me anything.
it's like take a group like the Black Eyed Peas. What genre are they?
Exactly. You right?
They rapping, they doing this, they doing that, they doing like what genre is that? And that's a struggle I'm
Mm,
having. Like, what genre is this?
right. Mm.
But analysis is paralysis. You start overthinking that
Yeah.
you could have made a whole album, but you know what I mean?
No, for real.
You sitting there dissecting the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, if you could work with somebody from a different genre, from a different okay, let's not say this because you kind of said, yeah, Kid Cudi. But if you could work with a different rapper, or if you could work with a rapper and said you were making this
Hmm.
hybrid project, who would you work with?
Damn, that's a good question. Like a hybrid project with a rapper. This is gonna sound random as hell.
I'm for it.
Oh, uh, I'd want to do something with Chameleonaire. I was a big
Mm,
Chameleonaire fan. Um, I think, everyone knows Ryden, of course, but I got into his mixtape Messiah series back when I was in high school, and I'm like, this dude's amazing. And the fact that he sings a lot on his songs, even if it's just a hook or you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like he incorporates that a lot. So I'd want to see how that works if I'm providing some kind of live instrumentation and he's kind of, doing his thing rapping. I think that would be interesting.
I've always liked and you go look on YouTube now, like there's a lot of different mashups and
Right.
blending genre, like I always thought that was super dope
Mm,
to do that, and take this. I mean, of course, you know I'll put it like this: I don't feel like there's as many band members as there are rappers. Like there's not as many people
Mm.
that play the guitar and play the bass as there are rappers. Like rapper
Oh,
any
yeah. Not
there's
yeah,
more
there's
like so when you see people
yeah.
that have bands and instruments and do different things, it's more rare than just a rapper.
That's true. That's true. It's like even if you make music on your own, it's kind of like I don't know how to put it. I know you put a lot of work into being a rapper, same with your instruments, but yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it's people just gravitate towards one more than the other. Being exposed to certain types of music when I was younger, I mean, that obviously helped with kind of leading me down certain paths. So yeah, it's weird how that works. And maybe rapping is just a little more accessible as like I think the entry point might be easier to get to for people where it's like,
Yeah,
okay, I just wrote a rap, so I'm a rapper. But
yeah,
beyond that is where
anybody could talk. Well, I think, for me, rap always stood for rhythm and poetry. You know what I
poetry,
mean?
yeah.
I always liked the out there ideas and different branding and different stuff like that. And I
Mm,
feel like the problem with rap, they start making it focused only on, certain stuff, you know what I mean?
mm,
And it just kind of took
right.
away from, hey, these are poets and poetry, you know what I mean? This
Mm,
is poetry and
mm,
with the music behind it. I think they kind of took away from that. Because if you really look at there's somebody did a study one time, they said it's really harder to make a rap than, I think they said the average rock song, you know what I mean?
I can believe that. That's
Because
the
if you
funny
look at
thing.
the
I can believe
lyrics
that.
of like a rap song, it's and it has to be intricate versus a
Right.
rock song is speed up, so which is dope, but it's more repetitive. You know what I mean?
Uh, it is, and when you rap, there has to be well, I mean, obviously, there's rhythm is the whole thing, so there's a lot more you have to do to sound interesting, I think, in a rap than you might need to do with a guitar in your hand. So that's actually an interesting point.
I mean, I'm not knocking anything
Oh,
down, but
yeah, not at
if you
all.
like, if even for me, I've been doing this like funk, and it's like more of the stuff is repetitive and simple. Like the songs aren't long, but a lot of stuff I'm doing is repetitive or simple,
Mm,
or I have like the vocoder come in, electronic
mm,
voice, this and that, and I'm like, this shit is cool.
mm,
Versus sitting here rapping and have to say the most different, unique, scientific shit
mm.
ever that's never been said before. Like that shit is hard,
Right. So
So
I don't know. Maybe it's just yeah. I don't know. Seems like different vibes. It's interesting, man. I haven't really thought about it like that. So you got me
like
got the gears
if
turning up
if
here.
you look at like when jazz start coming around, like I think when it's like a black cultural thing that we get a hold, they kind of start putting like a negative twist on. Because remember when jazz
Mm,
came, they were like, "What is this shit? This is y'all
right.
smoking weed and you know what I mean, having these jam sessions and
Right.
smoking that jazz cabbage and." It was kind of like a negative, and that was
Right.
jazz. So
And now,
uh,
yeah, now it's like the classiest thing.
now it's so classy, and oh
Right.
wow, you do jazz. They kind of like shifted. Like, why doesn't
Hmm.
nobody? Do you know of any like jazz, like urban jazz bands right now?
Uh, no, no. I know a lot of like I know jazz musicians, but a jazz band like this is what we do, and like I wouldn't be able to tell
Do
you.
you think about how crazy that is? Like, damn, who's like got a jazz band where they like boom, 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 and they just like, yeah, brother with the cool alley and this, you know what I mean? Like,
No, I feel you. You don't really hear that out here, you
yeah,
know.
you don't hear. I guess that just takes too much work to have all those
Mm.
like musicians and shit.
It is a lot of work. That's the crazy thing, man. Finding musicians that can play and then that can vibe together. And yeah, it's crazy.
I think back when before we had all this technology, like man, what's his name played the sax, like is different people you could run into in the community that like played these instruments and
Mm,
you took the best ones or your clique or whatever and you had a band. Whereas
Right.
now it's like we got this technology, like, you know.
You can kind of end up cutting yourself off from all that. Yeah, if you let it happen that way. I mean, I'm talking like that. Most of the music I make is just me in my room, you know. So that's a real easy way to just kind of cut yourself off from everybody. It's a little too easy to do that these days.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's the way the world is going is like you're gonna have like your own little, like Ready Player One. You got your own little, you know what I mean. Whatever your thing is, that's your
Hmm.
world, your virtual world. You know,
Right.
you know what I mean. So I
Yeah.
think that's what goes into it. You
Mm.
know, any last shout outs you want to give or anything like that? Because I'll
Uh,
sit here and talk to you all night about theories and different shit.
nah, you bring up some good questions though, for real, or some good points. You got me thinking a lot right now. But shout out Water the Plants. We worked together on this track. Shout out to Paul and Omar. Shout out Mellow Lando, everybody out here in Pomona, San Gabriel Valley, Inland Empire. It's all love.
Dope, most
Yeah.
definitely. I appreciate you coming on, man. Stay tapped in, and hey, you know your boy might need a bass line or something.
Hey, hit me up. I got you, man. I got
All
you.
right, for sure. I might say like, man, let's do this project. You lay the bass like that time Travis Barker laid the drums down for the mixtape.
Exactly. See, you already know, man. We got this.
All right, for sure. I'm gonna holler at you. Peace out.
All right, peace. Stay up, man.
You too.